Hi students, I'm Mr. Sim. So this is actually the first of a series of 4 videos that I'll be sharing with you how you can use certain tricks or techniques to make your photography more interesting. But before we get started, I just want to introduce you to this thing that's called the BGSS Photography Challenge that's coming up. This will actually take place over the entire May holidays for you guys to submit in your photos. So for this year itself, the theme is actually to think, imagine, and to create. So what does these 3 words actually mean to you? Now, show you some of your creativity, show some of things that inspire you on a day-to-day basis, and put it into photographs and submit it in over here. So you'll be able to realize all these details can be found in the description box below as well. And attractive prizes actually await the top winners. Now, so back to this video, what exactly are we going to show you? Now in this video, as well as the next 3 videos, we're going to show you what you can do with your smartphone. You heard me right, you don't need a DSLR, you don't need a camera to become a professional photographer. You just need to learn how you can make use of certain things around you on a day-to-day basis and certain composition techniques to help you make your photos even more interesting. So today, I'm actually going to share with you 2 particular techniques. One is actually called framing. The second one is actually called long exposure shots. So let's take a look at how you can use framing for your shots. Now in the concept of framing, what we do is we actually make use of day-to-day objects or structures that we can find around to actually create sort of a box or a frame around the subject that we're interested in. So what I have now with me today is actually a textbook as well as my figurine, my Captain America figurine. And let's see what are some of the interesting shots that can be taken just using these 2 items. I'm just going to find any particular page that I want, and that page itself will actually serve as the frame for what I want. So the page itself, right, that you choose, you can actually choose something that is more colorful, has a lot of text. Okay, so I'm going to choose this page for example. And what I do is actually I fold it in this manner to create a loop. Now within a loop there should be an opening whereby you'll be able to see my subject at the back. And that's where I will actually capture the photo itself. Okay, so as you can see from here, now my page is actually forming sort of a frame or border around the subject that I'm interested in. It creates this very nice tunnel vision because of all the graphics and the text that's around on the page itself. Okay, so let me just adjust my subject a little so that it's actually directly within the frame itself. You do have to experiment it yourself so that you can actually adjust the position of your subject or the position of the pages or the height of the pages so that you can accurately capture the subject that you're interested in. Okay, I'm pretty sure this will turn out to be an amazing shot, but what interests me most is that you look at the reflection on the left side, something that I didn't expect. Okay, so this reflection actually creates a very nice texture to the entire photo. Okay, and let's take a look and see how this photo turns out to be. So another way that we can use books for framing, right? As you can see over here, I have more books, right? Is that we can actually build a pyramid around the subject itself. I'm gonna stack up my books to form 2 vertical columns. So I have other books such as this 10-year series. Alright, so just stack it up randomly in whatever way that you want. Just make sure that you have 2 pillars of it, so 2 columns of it. And make sure we have a book that's placed over the top like a roof so that we can actually frame up the entire subject. So there should be an opening whereby you'll be placing your subject at the opposite end of the opening. If you play around with the extent to which the book is actually being spread out, right, if you adjust it a bit, you can actually rearrange your entire frame so that you can really focus on the subject that you're interested in. And of course, if you don't like certain reflective surfaces, you can actually insert a black color paper or black cardboard at the bottom of this entire image, so it's on top of my table, so that I can block out the reflection. With your books, right, you actually create this illusion of space whereby there's a foreground and a background. And I really like the reflection on the right side of the entire book, right? And let's take a look at how this photo turns out to be. And what makes framing so interesting is that you can actually do this with any structures that you can find at home. Don't need to be actually any objects like books, etc. So what I have over here is actually my window frame at the back of my house, okay, at the kitchen there. So actually with all these structures like the window frame, the door frames, right, it actually provides very nice straight lines for you to actually border your subject, okay, to keep it in the frame. What I'm actually waiting for right now is to wait for a car to pass by this yellow box so that I can capture that precise moment and make sure that it's as sharp as possible. Now let's talk about the second technique, long exposure shot. Because I'm using an iPhone, I don't really have an inbuilt system to take long exposure shot, hence I'm using this third-party app called Adobe Photoshop Lightroom. This app is for free and all you need is just to create an account. Okay, so I do know that some other smartphones actually have their own inbuilt long exposure shot functions. Basically, it's the one that allows you to change the shutter speed of your camera. So if your phone has it, then it's good for you. Now to use this app for long exposure shot, we need to change some of the settings. If you click on the top right hand corner, the gear button, right, you'll be able to actually change to this tab that's called Technology Previews. Click on it and then activate the long exposure shots. And on the home page, if you click on the second icon on the top left, right, you're bringing to this page, then click on the camera function. This will show you the entire setting, but please make sure that you're actually on the long exposure settings. I'm actually taking this shot outside my house, so I'm actually at the ledge of the corridor. So if you are taking this at the windows or whatnot, right, just make sure that your phones are actually placed on a stable platform. So for this particular shot, I'm actually trying to cover these parts of the roads in terms of the car movement. Now let me show you the settings. Over here, you can actually change the shutter speed. The longer the shutter speed, the longer the camera is actually going to take the photo for, and this can create very nice light streaks. Okay, on the top left hand corner, when you click on the three dots, it actually allows you to change the timer. Now the purpose of changing the timer is to ensure that once you click on the button, right, we actually minimize the amount of shake that's being done to the camera phone. And personally, I also like to change the file format to JPEG because it takes up less space on my phone itself. Alright, so once everything is done, what you need right now is actually just wait for that precise moment. Do remember that you actually have a shutter speed of 3 seconds or so. So it's gonna take the photo for about 3 seconds. So during that 3 seconds, you shouldn't actually touch your phone or whatnot. Hence the purpose of the timer. So this is how the photo will look like when you're taking it. Let's try to take one more shot. Alright, you can see on the left side there's a column that moves up. That shows that the shutter is actually taking the photo. Now if you click on the photo that you have just taken, right, you realize that it looks just normal. There's nothing special about it. But not to worry. If you go back to the main page, right, when you click on this top right hand corner, the cloud, you realize that the camera is actually trying to process all the photos. So it takes a while, and once it's done, you can see for yourself the magic that happens. Okay, and here's my photo. Zooming into the photo, you realize that all the cars have disappeared, but they left behind these very nice light streaks. And that's the purpose of my long exposure shot over here. I want to keep all these light streaks of the car movement, but not the cars. And that was just one example of how long exposure shots can be taken. I'm going to show you another one that I feel is a lot more interesting. That's actually called light painting. Okay, so when it comes to light painting, right, what you want to have is to have your subject being placed in an environment that is fully black. So what I did over here was to create this black color backdrop. It's not very complicated. All I need to do, right, was to just use a pair of black pants and a black t-shirt, and that's all I need. Okay, now that my backdrop is done, all I need to do is actually to set up my phone. But for light painting, right, we're actually working with a setting of about 5 seconds. And you know that if we were to use our hand, right, it'll be very shaky and the whole image will be blurred. So what we want to have is to actually try to have a tripod. Okay, a tripod is just a stand that allows the phone to stay still. But there's totally no need for you to go and purchase a tripod. All you need to do is to use something like a toilet roll, right? It's just something that can allow the phone to stay there while you adjust the setting to capture your shot. So in terms of the setting, we're actually working with a shutter speed of 5 seconds. But do take note that I'm going to reduce the exposure to quite a dark contrast so that you can see that the whole background looks fully pitch black, so that I don't want to have that bit of grey color texture. At the same time, if you look at the top icon, right, the second icon called auto, right, with the bracket, that actually allows me to change the focus of the image, and that's what I want to do. Basically, I want to make sure that the image is as sharp as possible. Look at all this green line. The green line actually shows which part of the image is being in focus, and that's what I want. I want to make sure that the entire Wolverine's figurine, right, is fully focused throughout this entire shot. And last but not least, we need a torchlight, which can be used to actually paint over the entire subject, so that later on when we turn off the lights, right, you'll be able to see that you create this very nice illuminating effect onto the subject itself. Okay, so now that it's totally pitch black, right, what's going to happen is that once I click on the shutter later on, I'm just going to shine my torchlight over my image so that it can capture this entire nice effect. So now that my shutter is running, you see the countdown timer. And over the next 5 seconds, I'm just going to shine my torchlight over the surface of my subject so as to capture this illuminating effect on it. Now that we are done, let's take a look at how the image actually appears. If you click on the photo, right, you'll see that it's just totally black. Now don't worry, because the camera is actually taking some time to process the image. So if you go on to your app itself, look at the top corner, you should see this cloud logo. Click on the cloud itself. It should show you that one of the images is actually currently processing. Okay, so it might take a while depending on your phone's processing abilities. And there you have it, your personal light painted subject. Now you realize that this actually creates a very nice illuminating effect while the entire backdrop is actually black, which is quite useful if you are taking photos of certain items like your watches or shoes. So now I'm just going to do some minor edits to actually pump up the brightness as well as the sharpness of the image. In case you are thinking whether you can use a different color torchlight, the answer is yes, as this will create a different kind of effects for the photo. Alright, and with that we've come to the end of the first series of all these videos. So this is actually thanks to my models over here. So do stay tuned for the other 3 more videos that's in this entire series of how to take interesting photos at home. And do remember to take part in the BGSS photography challenge. Goodbye.